Some people, all they know is money. They don't know any God outside money. Otherwise, how can somebody say that there is no poor man that is holy?
Poverty is a sign of ungodliness. To be poor means there is sin in your life.
That Jesus died because he was poor.
Everybody hear me. People don't know scriptures. For 30 pieces of silver, Judas sold Jesus. So money problem led Christ to the cross.
That is an insult to the work of redemption. That is a total assault on the gospel. Whoever is the spiritual father of such pastors needs to cover his face in shame.
While I was still with my dad, Bishop David Oyedepo, January 2004, I paid the first fruit.
Well, I don't blame them. Some of them, the father is as bad as the son. And those useless Supreme Council of hypocrites will not call such a person out because they are members of that cabal where money is their God.
36:11. If they obey and serve him, they will spend their days in prosperity and their years in pleasure. It is written here, if you obey and serve God, you will prosper. You will prosper. You will prosper. So poverty is a sign of ungodliness. To be poor means there is sin in your life. Unfortunately, people think it is those that are rich that have sin in their life. Never trust the holiness of a poor man.
So when we say church, the word church is equally a codified language. So don't impose today's meaning on church, because you do not determine the meaning of the text. Do not impose today's understanding on the word church, because you do not determine the meaning of a text. It is the author that determines the meaning of the text. That's why in Bible teaching we say there's what we call the law of first mention, where a word first appears carrying with it the original flavor of that word. Then we also said that the author, by his use of words, now delegates his authority to the text. The author, by his use of words, now delegates his authority to the text. Now, you must read the text and understand the text. You must read the text and understand the text, and not impose your thinking on the text. You must read the text, you must understand the text, and not impose your thinking on the text, or impose your thinking on the text. Now, how important is it for me to know the meaning of a text? Because you know, your knowledge of the word, which is your knowledge of the text, is your worship of God. That is how important is it for you to know the meaning of a text. Your knowledge of the word, which is your knowledge of the text, is your worship of God. You cannot worship God beyond what you know. Some people, all they know is money. The God they know is money. They don't know any God outside money. See that? That's why some people will say that the devil does not fear a man that prays like he fears a man that has money, because the God they know is money. Bible says whose God is their stomach. Bible says you cannot serve God and mammon. So you're either serving God or you're serving mammon. Some people, their God is money. They don't see God beyond money. Filthy lucre. Otherwise, how can somebody say that you cannot be claimed to be righteous if you're poor? That there is no poor man that is holy. That there is no poor man that is holy. So holiness is synonymous with money. In fact, somebody sent me a video where a preacher in this country said that if Jesus was rich, he wouldn't have died. That Jesus died because he was poor.
Everybody hear me. People don't know scriptures. For 30 pieces of silver, Judas sold Jesus. So money problem led Christ to the cross. Poverty in the life of one of his disciples is the reason why they nailed him.
That is an insult to the work of redemption. That is a total assault on the gospel. And those useless Supreme Council of hypocrites will not call such a person out because they are members of that cabal where money is their God. When people like us preach Christ, they attack us because they are far from Christ, whose God is their stomach. How can somebody say that Jesus died because he didn't have money? That they used 30 pieces of silver to kill him? That if he was rich, it wouldn't have succeeded.
Everybody, let me say this. You will never see somebody betray you that money is not in their hearts. Never. They may not agree, they may not say it, but I'm telling you, there is always 30 pieces of silver. Everybody hear me. Even Jesus prophesied that as the fish swallowed Jonah, so the Son of Man will be buried under the earth for 3 days. After that, Son of Man will resurrect. Judas sold him for 30 pieces of silver. He went and he committed suicide. A small girl, 9 years old, maybe 10 years old, looked at Peter and said, "Hey, you look like one of his disciples." He began to rain curses on himself. It won't be better for me if I know him. May I die? I don't know him from anywhere. I've never. This girl, did they send you to me? You are a demon. I don't know him. Bartholomew, all the other disciples, nobody can come out. It was gloomy. It was total darkness. They crucified him and left him there on the cross, and they can resurrect there. Then a billionaire, Joseph of Arimathea, a billionaire that can talk the language of the king. He walked into Pilate's palace and demanded for the body of Christ. There are scriptural prophecies, only rich people can fulfill it. There are scriptural prophecies, only rich people can fulfill it. Shout with me, I'm one of them. All you need to come out then is to say you know Jesus. They will just kill you. Joseph of Arimathea walked into Pilate, a billionaire of note, and said to him, I'm one of his disciples. Pilate, you mean you are one of his disciples? Yes, I'm one of his secret disciples. Then you're supposed to have come to let me know. Otherwise, we will not have killed him. I don't know that people like you relate with him. I didn't know. I thought all those riffraff that follow him around. What do you want? I want his body. Even that body must be put in a billionaire's tomb, specially prepared. I can see, what are people talking about? What are people talking about?
He is even worse than Peter, who said, Jesus, you will not die. And Jesus said, get thee behind me, Satan, because you are an offense to the things of God. You savour not the things that be of God. So Jesus came to the earth not to die, or what? And that is a message in an entire convention, global convention, that if Jesus had money, that when Joseph of Arimathea showed up, who was a billionaire, he told Herod, I know that guy is my guy. Herod said, oh, we didn't know you know him, we wouldn't have killed him. Anyway, we are sorry for killing him, you can have his body. That it took a millionaire to just collect the body and bury it. These people, I don't know whether they even read Bible, or they just read village parables or village tales by moonlight. Jesus came to the earth to die. Ought not Christ, oh fools, oh zoomy, oh fools, slow of heart to believe all that the prophets have spoken. Ought not Christ to have suffered these things and to enter into his glory? Jesus said, the poor you will always have. The poor you will always have.
January 2004, I began the mystery of the first fruit. While I was still with my dad, Bishop David Oyedepo, January 2004, I paid the first fruit. That was how I walked out of salary for life, even when I was still in a paid job. Being a pastor in Winners, by the mystery of the first fruit, I walked out totally I gave my January salary, 2004, to my dad, Bishop Oyedepo. And then February, March, first 3 months of 2004, I don't need salary again the rest of my life. I said to somebody this year, 2025, you will taste financial dominion. Somebody, this is the year you will break the backbone of that poverty. You will destroy that poverty completely in your life.
I'm sure they have not read in the book of Revelation where Jesus spoke to them through the angel and said, because you thought you are rich, because you thought you've acquired things, he said, but you don't know that you are naked, you are wretched, you are poor, you are blind. He said, because you thought you have acquired material things, you've acquired all kinds of cars, all kinds of money, you have lied to God's people, emptied their pocket, collected all their monies, and used it to build a luxurious life for yourself at the expense of their own living. You do not know that you are wretched, you are poor, you are blind. Revelation 3:17, because thou sayest, I am rich and increase with goods, and have need of nothing, and thou knowest not that thou art wretched and miserable and poor and blind and naked. Look at the next verse. I counsel thee to buy of me gold tried in the fire, that thou mayest be rich. Sitting to hear me teach this morning is the greatest wealth you can ever have. That thou mayest be rich, and white raiment, that thou mayest be clothed, and that the shame of thy nakedness do not appear, and anoint thine eyes with oil salve, that thou mayest see. Whoever is the spiritual father of such pastors needs to cover his face in shame and call them to the backyard in the kitchen and take them through class 101, in fact 001, so they stop disgracing him. Well, I don't blame them. Some of them, the father is as bad as the sons. So you can't worship God beyond what you know. That's what took us into that journey. You can't worship God beyond what you know.